the development of Kenya's industrialization roadmap, negotiation and finalization of international trade agreements between Kenya and countries like the European Union, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. One of the key milestone and flagship programs for this government has been significant improvement in the business climate and the improvement in the ease of doing business that Kenya has experienced, from being at the bottom of the world in terms of how unfriendly Kenya has been in doing business, to now being in the top quartile of countries that are best for doing business. These are just some of the many things that we did during this time, and we couldn't have done this without the leadership and the guidance of His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta. And I want to thank him immensely for the support, for the opportunity, and the wonderful relationship that we've built over time, not to mention some great people that I've worked with, especially my colleagues in government, staff in the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Agriculture, where I was there for a short period, and of course currently the Ministry for East African Community and Regional Development. As leaders, we often take all the good accolades and pat on the back, but the people who do the lot of work are the teams that you supervise and that you lead. And for that, I want to say a big thank you, especially to those of us, my team who are here, who have really gone out of their way during these last 9 years to make it possible for us to succeed, for Kenya to do well in many of the endeavors that we have achieved together. It is now a point in our life that we now have to make different choices as we look forward into our next steps as general election approaches. I have had discussions with His Excellency the President, sharing with him my intention to run for governor of Mandera County. And what that would mean is I would have to tender my resignation in accordance with the laws of this country, where one has to vacate public office 6 months prior to the general election. It is therefore in line with that requirement that I have today tendered my resignation, advising His Excellency the President that I will be moving forward to vie for the position of governor for Mandera County, hopefully sometimes in August 2022. I look back at what I have been able to achieve over the years during my working life. I've worked for the private sector. I've worked for some of the biggest multinational organizations. And I've worked in the last 9 years as a cabinet minister, serving my country very proudly. And now is the time for me to go back home in Mandera, where I grew up, where I spent a lot of my childhood fetching water from boreholes, oftentimes trekking for a very long distance, having to contend with schools with no classrooms and no teachers on many occasions, understanding the importance of education and also the livelihood and the challenges that communities at home have suffered during this long period of time. It is therefore with that in mind that I have offered myself to get back home to the village, to serve the community in which I grew up, in addition to the work that I've done for the country at large. And I'm really looking forward to working with the people of Mandera, hopefully, if they deem fit and see it appropriate, to draw on my experience as one of their own, to see how we can work together to change Mandera County, and through the role that we play in Mandera, hopefully contribute to other parts of the country. I'd like to end by saying that to the people of Mandera, change is coming. A big change is going to come, God willing. And I look forward to reaching out to all of you to see how we can work together to make a difference, not for ourselves individually, but for the millions of poor people who rely on leaders who are bestowed with the responsibility to look after the resources, to provide them with the necessary guidance and leadership so that their livelihood can be much better than they have been in the last few years. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I want to end there. That is all I have for now. And tomorrow and the day after and many months to come, we will be able to unveil a lot more pieces of information to share with the country, but most importantly with the people of Mandera, on what we plan to do with them, for them, and how we can work together to drive the agenda for Mandera people going forward. Asanteni sana.